today we delve into how to set boundaries and why those boundaries are important in our well-being and in our ability to experience a life that is meaningful and a life that is thriving. So what is a boundary? A boundary is actually like a line where we say this is where my property starts and this is where it ends. So for instance, if I am in my house, when I enter into my room, it is mine. The door is my boundary. When I close the door, then I am saying that don't come in without knocking. You need to have permission to come in here. A lot of us, we live in homes where there are gates. The gate is a boundary to show that in order for you to come into this house or into this compound, you need to seek permission to do that. So when we think about emotional and physical personal boundaries, that's what we are kind of talking about. So we are saying, where do I start and where do I end? What is my personal space? And when you come into my personal space, how do I feel? Do I feel safe? Do I feel loved? Do I feel accepted? Do I feel rejected? Do I feel insulted? Do I feel abused? What are the emotions that I experience the moment you enter into my personal space? A lot of us, because of growing up in homes where there wasn't very clear demarcations of where one starts and where one ends, we have no idea what boundaries, personal boundaries are. Neither have we any idea when we enter into other people's personal space. And so we find that we have a lot of conflicts with people, but really the reason why we have conflict is because we are each one of us is feeling somehow violated, or somehow our personal space has been interfered with, and so we don't feel safe. So at this point I want to talk about the fight and flight mode of dealing with when somebody enters into your personal space. As members of the animal kingdom, we have a feeling of distress whenever somebody comes within the space which is ours, when they come in there without permission. And so when you look at a bulldog, for instance, the bulldog, if you enter into their personal space, they tend to be aggressive towards you. They will try to bark at you. They will threaten you because they feel threatened. When you look at a cat, for instance, or even a squirrel, when you get into their personal space, they run away. And as human beings, we tend to do the same thing. That's why when we are feeling, whether it is attacked, when we are feeling unsafe within a space with someone else, we will either be aggressive, so we will express anger, we will express whatever we are feeling at that moment, or we will retrieve. We will be passive aggressive. So what is passive aggressive? Is where I feel that emotion of anger or emotion of being attacked, but I don't speak it out. What will happen is I turn it inward, and my body language is what will tell the other person that they have violated my personal space. The aggressive person is the person who is going to say immediately. They are going to express, but they are not going to express in a way that respects you either. It is going to be in a way that makes you also feel attacked. And that's how we get into these arguments and we get into fights, because first of all, the way you spoke to me, I felt attacked, and so I defended myself by attacking back. And then now you feel more attacked and you attack back. And so we continue in that process until there is a full-blown fight, and things are said, punches are thrown, or whatever happens. There is a confrontation. But the person who is passive aggressive, what they do, they are afraid to assert themselves. They are afraid to set the boundary, and so they don't speak. The way they set the boundary is by withholding. So they will withhold presence, conversation, affection, and other things to try and let you know that I am not happy with what you did. The difference between us and animals is that God gave us a third way of dealing with conflict, or dealing with self-preservation, or wanting to protect ourselves, and that is the issue, the fact that we can speak, that we can use words, because body language may not necessarily communicate the true message of what I want to say. And so in these segments, as we continue during this month, we are going to be talking about how do we set boundaries in appropriate ways, so that the other person who is crossing our boundaries, they are very clear about the message we are sending, but also that they feel respected by the way we send the message. So we will be talking about that, but it is important at this point to understand you have a right to identify your boundaries. Many of us do not know what their boundaries are. I will give a very quick example of my own personal experience, that when we were growing up, and you would feel that your parent or anybody else has crossed your boundary. If you spoke up, there was usually the reprimand that how can you talk to grown-ups like that? Do you know who I am? I am your mother, or I'm your father. You should not speak to me like that. When that was done, your voice was silenced. And when your voice was silenced, then you felt you had no space, and neither had you the permission to express who you are. So you grow up feeling that you cannot speak up. And that is why we have people who are very timid. They will not speak about their feelings or their thoughts, because when they tried, when they were growing up, to be able to express who they are, they were shut down. And so as adults, you will find these people will either be aggressive, where whenever there is something that triggers their feeling of being violated, they immediately go on attack. Or they are going to be passive aggressive. When they feel they have been violated or attacked, they will go and hide. They will go inward. And so the person who goes inward struggles a lot with depression, depressive feelings of low self-esteem, low self-worth, feelings of guilt and regret, while the person who is aggressive will probably struggle a lot with anxiety, the fear of losing control. And so they are constantly arguing and fighting to gain back control. So it's important for us to understand that dynamic. So if we learn how to identify our own boundaries, emotional boundaries, how do I feel when so and so does 1, 2, 3? How do I feel when other people get into my personal space, whether it is at work, with my spouse, with my children, with my sisters and brothers, with my friends? Identify what your boundaries are by paying attention to how your mood changes. And once you experience a mood change, then you know there is a boundary that has been crossed. And once you know that, then go through the process of asking yourself, what boundary was that? What did I feel? What did I think? And how have I acted in the past? And then we identify how do we want to act in the future. So I hope this information, this is like a foundational information about boundary setting and the reason why it's important. And I hope that it gives you something to think about. Leave a comment if you would like, or you can send us a question. You can reach me through the number that is on the screen, or you can go to my website, www.gracekariuki.co.ke, and you can send me a message from there, and I will be very glad to help you go through that. So until I see you next time, live by design, and let's enjoy the life that God has given us.